Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video and hope you guys are doing well. Today, in this video, I want to talk about Arms Warrior, the true winners of Cata. Arms Warrior went from being the best spec of the brown classes for one tier in Wrath to being unplayable for the remaining tiers, to now in Cata being a godlike S plus tier DPS throughout the rest of Cata. So what happened? What changed? I've always had a bit of love for Arms. It felt like a weapon master, which is kind of an archetype I quite like. It's typically slower than Fury, quite methodical, decisive, and Arms does still feel a little bit like that as well. Arms gains a few abilities and mechanics in Cataclysm. The first one is their mastery. It allows them to strike the target again for 100% damage and generates rage. This in itself is an awesome mechanic that just adds a little bit of extra white damage to your kit. Inner Rage allows you to spam Cleave or Heroic Strike for a short period, just depending on your rage, basically. Finally, you have Colossus Smash. This is the biggest change, in my opinion, for Arms, and what makes it so good in Cataclysm. Whilst this debuff is active, your abilities deal an insane amount of extra damage by bypassing 100% of the target's armor for 6 seconds. This creates interesting 6-second burn phases every time the debuff is active. Well, what's nice is that through the talent's Sudden Death, you can also get resets of this regularly enough that you have a good uptime on the debuff in general. Learning to manage and spend maximum rage in these windows is what makes great Arms Warriors. The spec itself is still relatively simple to play. 100% rend uptime, made easier in AoE by Blood and Thunder, which is Thunderclap spreads rend. Overpower as much as possible, Mortal Strike on cooldown, and Heroic Strike or Slam to fill depending on procs. Execute actually has a place in the rotation as well, which is pretty cool. The AoE burst potential of this spec is amazing. On short-lived packs, Sweeping Strikes, Wreck and Bladestorm will have you pulling aggro off any tank. And on longer living packs, spreading Rend to all mobs and then popping cooldowns gives you a significant boost again to damage. You then have Stance Dancing, a mechanic that I believe is unique to Cata. It might have happened in things like Vanilla, but in Classic, but I don't see this being a thing for very many expansions, if ever, in which Arms Warriors will jump between Battle and Berserker stance regularly to maximise the bonuses of both stances, and the abilities usable in those stances. This can simply be done by macroing different abilities to swap stances, and is actually very simple once it's set up. Once done, it's an easy damage increase again. Overall, Arms Warrior is an extremely fun experience in Cata, and is certainly one of the, if not the strongest spec in the game throughout the expansion. The one thing I'm not a fan of personally is the dual spenders. Both Slam and Heroic Strike fill the role of spending single target rage just fine, but in an optimal scenario you only use Heroic Strike during certain procs, whilst using Slam in all other scenarios. It does just feel a little bit unnecessary and a small thing, but it is noticeable. So is Arms Warrior for you? Have I managed to convince you? It really is so strong. I filmed this video in the same dungeon that I recorded the Fury video, and you could just see the night and day difference, bearing in mind that the gear is exactly the same. I literally swap out 2 one-hand swords for a 2-hand sword. That's the only thing that changes, and my damage literally just doubles. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. More videos coming soon. Catch you later. Bye.